So you have to make your coffee cup request. If you are on, share. Share, 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 share,
Not
share,
today.
share,
Not today.
share
Good
live.
morning, Kashonda.
Share.
Not today.
Share the live.
Nothing. Go ahead and share. Thanks, Kashonda. And people don't get enough sleep.
I am tired.
Two extreme behavior patterns. When individuals don't get enough sleep, and when they get too much sleep. They sleep too much. And this is a representation of someone who just, they're sleeping.
Got the coffee cup.
Don't laugh. Please don't.
I am one.
Yeah. So good morning.
With sleep.
Good morning. Monday morning with the Moors. We are back.
After 2 weeks.
Was it 2 or 1?
Well, after 1 week.
This seems like a really long time.
I ain't kidding. This is
like a long time.
It's a great week, though.
So, interesting segment that happened. So, life updates, which relates to Monday mornings with the Moors, and we were with family and traveling last Monday, but that's just interesting. We, life updates, we made it safely back after a tremendous second travel to Charleston, South Carolina, our home, and celebrating my parents' pastoral retirement. We had family had been working with the church for so many years, months, and getting this endeavor together. My sister and I worked diligently with my mom. We had a lot of input, designing the entire weekend. I'm a writer.
Good morning, Lady Elder Moore.
I'm a writer, and just writing out. I tell you, there's nothing more incredible than writing your dad's story. And I was honored to write the narrative of his journey. And one day I pray, he alluded to, let's get this published, along with everything else I should be publishing. Another added to the list. But I tell you, one of the most incredible things, so it was really busy. We had a lot to do. I am forever grateful to Terrence for all of his support. He is with TJ and Josh, my biggest cheerleader. And just have always had just a tremendous relationship with my parents. And just, my father is just a tremendous impact in this pastoral journey. Excuse me. And to say the least, we should never negate the opportunity to sow or to honor individuals whenever their life accomplishments, because I believe strongly that will come back to you. And not only just in coming back, it's just the humane. It's this great act of humanity. So we just had a tremendous time. So this is the funny of the story. We had people coming in from all over. Hundreds of people attended the luncheon, a few hundred on that Friday night. It's just a very tremendous weekend of events. And Sunday I had the honor, and I say an honor, to minister on their camp Sunday. And
that was something.
That
was something.
Just put it, I'm still full over the honor. It's just a very humbling experience of the journey that I've had, particularly with my father. Words can never express, and nothing can ever take that away. And I think my biggest lesson learned out of this entire journey is not allow outsiders to distract you from your destiny track.
Absolutely.
And there could have been a lot of distraction, a lot of people wanting to do certain things, try to, derail the joy of what was going on. It was flawless. It was smooth. There were no interruptions in it. It was just God ordained. But you have to realize that you have to give way in life to live life, and I was sharing with my sister, years when I started approaching my 50th birthday. I'm over 50 now, but when I was approaching my 50th birthday, I started having some kind of reality check, not so much of things not done, but things that I forfeited in life. And that forfeiture in my family, in my writing, and just the nurturing investment, cultivating of who I am as a person. And it's very interesting. And I was telling her, I'm 51 now, going on 52, and I'm out of the game. You hear that when people talk about living that drug life or living, that lawless, reckless life. But I told her, you know what? Hey, I'm out of the game. I stopped living I got out of the game of life and I started to live my life. And there's a huge difference. There's something real and emotional and meaningful of living life and getting out of the game of life where opinions really become obsolete. And, having people pull you into their personal problems, their spirit, their traumatic
drama life.
Drama life. You get out of the game and start to live life. And it was just an incredible honor. And we got really excited because, I feel like those who we're connected to, that we have a valued opportunity to impart into their life, they're coming out of that line, that oil legacy of community, civic action, and honor that I am honored to be able to attribute to others. So it was a great weekend. Now, the funny side of it is we're sitting at Terrence's parents' house. I didn't get to see them until, yes, focus is essential, Rudine. I didn't get a chance. They saw them. Terrence was able to see his parents a few times during the trip, but I was really at the helm of it with my family and with the Mount Orr family. And I tell you, it's interesting. People are like, "Hey, we're sitting up there and the luncheon is over," and people are saying, "Monday morning with the Moores."
And we were talking about, we're not going to be able to do it.
We're going to be on there because we're traveling.
During that time?
Oh, man, y'all do something at the airport. Y'all record it or whatever. Don't forget Monday morning Moores.
But then again, I went,
this one right here. So let me tell you what happens. Idea. We're sitting at his parents' house. Josh is taking a nap. It's the grandparents. You don't even mess with what they're able to do over there. But I'm lying down on their couch and our phones go off. My phone go off. And I was like, for God's sake, Christ's sake here. Our flight gets canceled.
That early morning flight.
We had an early morning flight. Oh, we fly out first thing Monday morning. Early morning flight. Like, this is not happening right now. Talking about leaving Charleston 5 p.m. That is not happening. We ended up
5 a.m.
5 p.m.
Oh, that was they tried to rebook us.
So anyway, I was like, neither one of us said anything to each other. But Monday morning when we ended up leaving Monday morning, but it was just on a later flight. And this is the crazy part, his parents just like, go with the flow, guys, kind of attitude, which is fine. They're telling the truth. And so the crazy thing is, I was like, I started thinking, he said, we should have did Monday morning with the Moores. And I was like, I did think about it. But I was like, we already told everybody we were going to be on. So we didn't do Monday morning with the Moores.
Which we really probably could have.
Probably, because he was like, why does God have this happening? Nothing happens by happenstance. And I feel like I was looking at Pastor PJ, a missed window of opportunity. We should have done Monday morning with the Moores.
Mm-hmm. Live from South Carolina.
And that would have been probably an awesome topper for us to do. And then I thought, we were, my parents live, we can get a straight shot to the airport. I thought we could probably bike them on Monday morning with the Moores.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my mom would have done it, but my dad.
Oh, your mom would have done
my
it.
My dad. It
She would have
didn't take
been.
much
She would have
for
been
me to
whining and
get what I
complaining.
want out of him.
She would have been
So
whining and complaining,
he
leading
would have
up to
done
it,
it.
and then she would have stuck her head in
Good
there and
morning,
started talking.
Dolores. Good morning. So it's exciting
Morning,
about
Pastor
that.
Gordon.
And I think, you know, just attributing, we're going to have a few more minutes, but we ended up coming home talking about the power of legacy, and that to live your life is to live it with a legacy. And not knowing when we were getting married that, you know, I have to tell you, I told God straight out, I didn't want to marry a pastor. I don't know if I've shared that testimony several times, you know, just somebody that loved Jesus, don't want to go to church with me and worship, want to pray with me, read their Bible, want to live right. Do not give me a pastor. That's just what's my one request from God. Make sure he's not a pastor.
Right.
So on the days,
Morning,
can
Jesse.
I just say a really raw word? The
Say
days that
it.
Terrence would piss me off, which are many.
I tell you, it's a gift.
He is so gifted and tick off.
I have my master's degree. I'm working on the PhD.
No, you got a PhD. You are your second.
That's my honorary. So I'm getting my
that
earned
ticking
one.
Cheryl off is many
Yeah,
levels.
you know. What can I say?
He's got a philosophy degree, theological. That's just all scientific education. All of them. EDD, PhD, MD, all of them. So
the quantitative and qualitative.
I
studies.
tell God, the first time I heard it, I was cracked up. Good morning, Pastor May. Mays. I said, I don't want to marry a pastor. I didn't want to. And then with the days that Terrence ticked me up, I said, this is exactly why I said I did not want to marry a pastor.
And she didn't. And
the Lord said, you didn't. You wasn't a pastor when you your vows.
Yeah, it's true. God was true to his word.
I was like, it stunned me because he wasn't. He was just learning to live right. But
I love Jesus and went to church.
And it goes to show you that we have to give each other room to grow. Not grow. Life is an evolution. Humans are, we continuously evolve. And that's not just so much for marriage. That's just for friendships, relationships, on your job, in your dreams. You want people around you that give you space for an evolution. And that's the biggest cuss I would say, because I'm not the same person. I don't think the same way. I don't navigate through the same way of how I was when I first said I do. And I really believe that we forfeit friendships, people who God has placed as a value in our life. We react, which was hugely for me, very reactionary. We react, we cut people off, we walk out without giving it a thought that this is going to be of value to me, and I'm going to change. Right, Justin, I'm going to change. I'm going to morph and become someone new. How many, unless it's for medical reasons, you don't go around the store and they even have adult wear. This is a crazy example, but it's a reality. You know, most of us, we don't go around, you put on big people undergarments, you don't wear Pampers.
Right.
Even in that, they have adult wear for that. There is a maturity that sometimes we forfeit along the way that becomes, value. That's very valuable.
And that is the problem, I think, that people come into relationships or people come into just life, is that they don't mind people evolving or people changing, but they want them to evolve the way they want them to evolve. And that messes up everything. So I want you to, when you grow up, I want you to be this way. I want you to be that way. But that is not what my path is. That is not what I want to do. And the other thing is, when, as many times as Cheryl has said, I didn't want to marry a preacher or anything like this. I just wanted somebody to, we can go to church and just have a good relationship with God, read the word. For me, I thought that was like, yeah, duh. I mean, Christian, you would want your husband to come to church. I mean, I'm thinking it's a no-brainer. And I know my father would, he was the occasional churchgoer. Mom went to church all the time, but he was the occasional churchgoer. But but one of the things that was really, really cool about in our house is that he never, even though he wasn't a consistent churchgoer, he never ever stopped us from going to church. He never ever stopped us from experiencing God the way we would want to. So it wasn't something, and he never stopped mom from going to church. I think the older I got, and the more we evolve into our relationship, and the longer we pastor, it became very mind-boggling about how there are some men who would not even allow their wives or family to come to church, or would have no interest in coming to church, or when asked, why don't you want to come to church? There's never they don't express a reason, which really, really disrupts the house. And I think men, and we'll talk about this, later, but the importance of men in the church, men leading the house, men being kings and priests of their home, those things are very, very vital. And that is something that men, when they get in relationships, and especially when we get married, that is something we evolve into. We evolve into kings, because when we get married, we are prince. We are a prince. When we say I do, the crown falls heavy upon us. The crown and the thorn falls heavy on us. And we have to evolve into that.
I don't think I understood that when we got married. No, I don't think. I just
No, you didn't.
I gave no grace space for growth.
She wanted automatic.
I did not understand it. I thought everything was automatic. And
my daddy was like this. My dad, so you automatically become like.
And then I put the cap on it with comparison,
right?
And that is a bad word too. It's for this situation, it wasn't the healthiest thing, because sometimes when we, in context, we're talking about when we, our journey. Because in that, I look at my life and placing expectations on people where they don't belong. Mm-hmm. And then, I'm taking responsibility for ruining relationships or friendships or people that got, I hate when I say a sign in my life, but having my space because of expectations that they are not ready for, or expectations that they're not qualified or even called to, or that's just not their person.
Right.
And just allowing that evolution, and then dealing with those. And then the opposite spectrum, I found myself struggling with those that were in a hurry and, knew better. By that time, I knew better, and they were in a hurry, and just trying to pace myself. And so, through our journey, I learned a lot about accepting where people were, who they were, and realizing that there's a value, learning to just see value in my entire journey. And then in that, when I learned to see people for what they were valued, I had a greater value for my own marriage. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we do that with family, friends, our siblings. We complain so much and see the faults.
But we don't see the blessings of what they really bring to the table.
We don't see the blessings and what people really bring. And then as much sometimes as like Terrence gets on my nerve, I simply just can't live without it. I mean, I can continue probably if that's the Lord's will, but life
trying to kill me off.
The policies are in place. I can't. Trust me.
I can't wear her sometimes. I can't.
Hallelujah, I'm saying? Keep it moving.
I can't with you sometimes.
Wait, you're on the live now saying, don't put me in this. Pastor Terrence said, I'm killing it off. I ain't saying nothing. You don't think what make you mad. Make all y'all love members mad. Travis on here. All I'm busting people out. Turn something off. I mean,
oh man,
I ain't with that. Yeah, it's my wife in ministry where we met, and is an elder at our church, and I never thought I'd be I think he's saying man of God. Yeah, married to a person that involved in church. Right. You don't think that you're, again, the value of what they bring in that evolution. And I keep thinking if I didn't step back and stop trying to template and what I thought he should be, what I thought he should look like, I could have saved myself a lot of damage. I don't know.
I
That's
saved
a
myself
story
a
for
lot of
another,
headache.
not another day. We are going to start, detailing the segments so everybody can follow a little more fluently.
Mhm.
But just in my trying to say what was right, what was wrong, based out of my eye view and not out of who he was evolving
Right.
into, became, I would say, I take responsibility, some of it. Right.
I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. For this episode, I'm gonna leave that alone for right now.
Because I know you guys have been following the story about when we were struggling financially, especially when we first got married. We've had those periods in our marriage period. We're transparent. I don't play those games because I believe it's going to help somebody else. And allowing him and not being reactionary to in your response and situation, and definitely allowing somebody to evolve and not pushing and pressuring them. And a lot of times when I felt that there should have been a financial decision, he was pressured into making something happen, and not us as God-believing couple trusting God,
right,
and really extending where God was trying to cause our faith to be favorable and fruitful. Because you can have faith and it can be a failing faith, but he was trying to make it fruitful and favorable as those elements and characteristics of our faith.
And especially when it came to again, we will talk about more about that later. But especially when it came to the finance, is that defining line, especially for me, with making decisions that was wise versus making the decision that would please her, and common sense is so common when it comes to money, and when you're in a relationship, and when you're dealing with a lot of things that have to do with financial decisions. And we've had these conversations where it's like, excuse me, we should have made this decision, or I felt we should have made that decision, but because you were so expressive about it, I kind of went this way. But I never shared that part in the process, because if I said, okay, Cheryl, this is what I'm thinking that we really need to do, but you're just tripping about this, so I made this decision. All those things came after the fact, after the damage was done. And then she was like, why didn't you say anything? It was like, you don't get it. But I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm doing the right thing to make her happy, but making her happy is not always the God way. That was not
putting us on one accord.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
actually, I'll call it what it was. It was caving into my carnality.
Ooh.
So take that with you as a lesson today. Caving into carnality and pressuring people to cave into your carnality.
A lot of times I caved in when I knew better.
Right. When you know better, you do better. And sometimes we become fearful of faces, reactions, because happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I misappropriated that.
A misappropriation of that. And then, miserable man, makes a mess.
A miserable man makes a mess, man. Oh my gosh. I'm calling myself making her happy. But I was miserable.
You was miserable.
I was miserable, but I'm like, at least I'm making her happy.
Yeah,
but
and I think
that created such a conflict.
Because there's so many stories. This is our journey.
Oh man!
But I'll tell you, there was this
hundreds of thousands of dollars later. Millions of dollars later. Oh my God!
And I'm laughing, but it really was billions.
Oh God!
Later. But God has been faithful, and I don't even want to use that because somebody like, what happened? Don't worry. Remind me on the live, because sometimes we skip around. We got to beat this.
Yeah, we got to go. We got to head out.
But remind us on the live to tell you how that journey, how we rose, and God blessed us to be in the category of millionaires. And because of bad decisions and bad influences, never listen to people who are on your level. You always need to be a step higher.
Don't listen to people who don't have any vested interests.
Who don't have no property, and then tell you it's the word of the Lord. Okay, so
we gotta go. What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy, you better tell me what college you're heading to, because you're a smart guy, man. I want to know what college you're heading to.
Good morning.
Hey, Natasha.
Yeah, I tell you, happy life, happy wife, happy life. But in that, you have to say, miserable men make a mess.
Yeah.
And I think there's just it's not a balance. It's just everybody being in their respective place. And again, our theme today was just giving space for the evolution.
Absolutely.
And giving space for mistakes. That's not just in your marriage, just in your friendships, relationships. We throw out, this is something our former pastor would say all the time. Rick would say to me all the time, Cheryl, stop throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Right.
And good morning, Lyrics. And that is just key, not throwing everything away. Don't walk away when you have to learn to wait and play things out. And
Very true.
Even if it's coming to a segment in your life journey where it's an end, don't leave it where there's not a continued evolution in your own life. Because I truly believe that in the value of people. I believe in it and have grown. I have guilt and regret sometimes that I feel like I got the lessons too late. But again, I'm out of the game of life. I've learned to live life and appreciate the journey. And it's healthier when you live life when you game your life.
Absolutely.
Completely. Live life and don't game life. So we're out.
Yeah, we're out. And the thing and I want to close with this part is that when we forgot when we were doing our pre-counseling, when we did our pre-counseling, we forgot the very thing that our counselors told you, the Timberlakes, is there's only 3 people in the marriage, and that's me, her, and God. And sometimes along the way, we allowed other voices in our decision making, and we knew better. But because we cared a lot about them, and we felt that they cared a lot about us, and we called them wise voices, then we allowed their thoughts to infiltrate our process. And so even when we do counseling, we remind people, always keep 3 people, and that's you, her, and God, and that keeps things going. And when you allow those things, especially when you're married, when you always keep that principle and that concept and decision making and evolution, it makes things a lot better. And sometimes we forgot about that, and the price was paid through that.
The price was paid. And you're right, Dolores. Thank you for sharing that for your husband with 31 years. And it's true, but you got this. And there are battles, and we have to stop.
Hey, Natasha, get your work on.
Right. We have to stop bringing in options to precious value relationships and people that God has gifted in our life. So we are the Moors.
You all have a phenomenal day.
Nobody showed me their coffee cup.
Oh, God.
Sarah's probably going to look at the live, so I'm just going to say it. Okay, we're about to go into fall. I'm going to need a new coffee cup.
Oh, my gosh. I don't need a new coffee cup. I want a new coffee cup. Anything that's Jedi related, Star Wars, hint, or even if it has a mug with chocolate on it. I mean, I don't know, it's.
All right. You all have an amazing day, and do not deny yourself the opportunity to allow for an evolution. Continue to evolve. Continue to move in the way that you've been created for you. Every day, keep it as a destiny day. Make things happen. Continue to move, and you are a relevant evolution. You are the Moors.
We are Terrence and Cheryl. We love it, and let's just pray. Father, we just thank you for all that you are in our lives. We just bless you for who you are. And we use this day as a kickoff day, that this is a day that you have made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And we shall make that declaration on a daily basis, God. We honor you. Continue to guide our steps, guide our lives. We pronounce and make, again, a declaration of prosperity, increase, expansion, and favor. And we are divinely connected to your wills. We submit to your will, God, for you are a great God. We thank you for protecting us and guiding us. In Jesus' great name, amen. Love you all. We out. Hey.